I didn't point, but yes, sir.
Okay, the first thing that I'd like to say is that I was here a couple of months ago, Mr. Warwick, when you announced that you had a letter, and I'm assuming, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I assume that the chairman of the police commission brought it to you regarding a letter from Ha Tran. And you announced to the board and to we people that were standing out or sitting out here in the audience that you had a letter that you were going to read into the public record. And you went and you read that letter out into the public record that went in to the record, the written record of the selectmen's meeting. It went on to the audio tape of the selectmen's meeting, which also then is available to anybody on the internet. That letter, firsthand, was a personal letter that was sent to the chief. It had never been given to you by the chief of police. The chief of police says that he never gave it to you. The chief said that he only gave it to the police commission. When asked about that letter being read at the minutes, or read at the meetings, the chief turned around and he said, "You didn't see me read that letter at any of the meetings, did you?" We ended up finding out, and we have proof, that that letter was fraudulent. We have documents to prove that that letter was fraudulent. We have documents to prove that Michael Perry, the director of Windsor Locks Funeral Home, was the author of that letter. Michael Perry sent that letter to Ha Tran in an attempt to have Ha Tran, there's a big story to it, I don't want to take up all your time, but anyhow, what he was trying to tell Ha Tran is that this letter was supposedly going to help the police department mend the fences with the high school kids. Ha Tran got this letter and signed off on it without reading it, thinking that he was helping the town out. He never looked at it until after we contacted him and we told him about what was in the letter. He pulled the letter up and he said, "I never saw this in the letter." We've approached the police commission about it, and of course Mr. Brace won't do anything about it, and the chief turned around and says, "It's not me, I didn't read it into the record, talk to the police commission. I only showed them my letter, that's all I did." And then he turns around and he says, "And I didn't provide it to the first selectman." You turned around and you read a letter into the public record that embarrasses 3 town residents that did absolutely nothing wrong. And then you read a letter into the microphone or into the record here that's available on the internet to millions of people. And what have you done to try to correct that situation? I have seen nothing, have heard nothing, have not gotten any written type of apology from you or your office. The chief realizes, they know now that it's a fraudulent letter. Have you tried to contact the chief and ask the chief what's going on with this letter? I don't know. But the thing is that I'm sitting at my house. I've got a fraudulent letter that has been sent to me. I've got a copy of it. And I've got documentation showing that it is a fraudulent letter, that my own town, including the first selectman, read into the minutes, making me look like a clown. And the thing is that it was all a setup. And you bit hook, line, and sinker, sir. Now, if anything, if I was you, I would be angry. I would be angry that somebody used you in your position to basically tarnish the reputation of 3 people that didn't do anything wrong. You may not like us, and you may not like the way that we come across sometimes, but the thing of it is I know that you know right from wrong. And if we do something wrong, especially myself, I'll admit it. But the thing is what happened that day when you read that letter into that record should have never happened. There was no checking into that letter to see if that letter was correct. There was no verification to see if the Hotran had actually sent that letter. If I can leave here, if I can leave this meeting and within 30 minutes come up with Hotran's email address, even though they tried to block it by blacking it out, if I can come up with his email address and send him an email and find out that he didn't write that letter in 30 minutes, why couldn't you have done that? Was it that necessary that you had to take that letter that night and read it into the minutes to embarrass us? And I question that as a leader. As a leader, and I know that you were in the military, would you do that to somebody, a subordinate? Would you take, if I wrote something down on a piece of paper about one of the other selectmen, would you take that as gospel and read it into the recorded minutes and let it go viral? No, of course you wouldn't. You would look into it. But you didn't give us that same courtesy that you would give the other two selectmen. And I think that the town of Windsor Locks, especially you, because you're the one that did it, you're not the one that wrote the letter, and I understand that, but you're the one that brought it to this board and read it to into the record and let it go viral. You're the one that embarrassed us through the selectman's office. And as I said, the police commission did the same thing. And one thing that I want to point out to you, if, and I'm saying if it was Mr. Brace that brought it to you, Mr. Brace not only got you involved in it, but he also got Mr. Cunningham involved in it, because when the police commission read that letter into the record a month later, Mr. Brace wouldn't read that letter into the record. He turned around and he looked for a patsy to read that letter into the record. He found Mr. Cunningham, because he turned around and he says to Mr. Cunningham, "Here, you read this into the record." And what do you think he's doing there? He's washing his hands free of the situation, so he can't be blamed for any of it. So he found two people that he got tied up into a situation that probably never wanted anything to do with it to begin with. But now there's a problem. I've got two agencies within the town that have destroyed our reputation, and it was uncalled for. But anyways, this town should be doing something to try to correct that situation, and it should be coming from you, because you're the first selectman. You should be directing this town to do some damage repair in order to clear our names. And whether it is writing a letter and reading it into the record, that letter came to you and it was read into the record and it now turns out to be fraudulent, but it should be coming from you. And that's all I have to say on that issue. I have one other issue, and other than going to the town meeting, it might be a little bit too late, but I'm curious about, somebody had told me about the Oak Ridge Drive, approval of the acceptance of Oak Ridge Drive. And I'm curious why all of a sudden they're trying to get Oak Ridge Drive approved. And the thing with that is that it's a condo association. And if you're turning around and you're trying to get the street, the town to accept Oak Ridge Drive as a street, what it sounds like to me is that the condo association is trying to push Oak Ridge Drive's care onto the town of Windsor Locks. And I don't know if that's true or not, but it certainly sounds that way. I know that Windsor Locks plows a couple of towns that are private streets in this town. I know that Elmer Road is one of them. I know that there's one a little bit up further. But to me, by accepting some of these streets like Oak Ridge Drive as a private road, I think what's going to end up happening is the town of Windsor Locks is going to end up eating the cost of maintaining these roads Not only that, but I think they're gonna turn around and they're gonna look towards Windsor Locks for plowing these roads. They're gonna turn around and say, well, it's a town road, you've accepted it, so take over the, you know, the maintenance of it. The street is cracked, it needs to, you know, that condominium complex has been there, it's gotta be at least 20 years, if not 25 years. I don't know what the sewage lines are like. We don't know if there's any type of piping problems anymore. You know, we've seen in other neighborhoods where some of the pipes have cracked. We've seen the town on occasion go in with a machine where they plastic coat them on the insides. We've seen where they've had to replace the pipes. I don't want to see Windsor Locks get stuck with having to remove pipes and upgrade roads because the condo association smartened up and said, well, if we get Windsor Locks to accept it as a town road, then we're shifting the care over to it. But the thing is when they bought those, they bought them as condos. There's a condo association fee affixed to that. And that condo association fee is supposed to take care of the plowing, of the leaf pickup, of the maintenance of the properties and stuff like that. And to turn around and have them all of a sudden requesting that Oak Ridge Drive be requested to be a town road or inspected by the town road and that the town approve it, it makes me wonder if they're successful in doing what they're doing, when is Dibble Hollow going to hit you? When is the Pheasant Court and all the other ones, Quail Court and all your other condo associations in here going to hit you up with the same thing? And I think what you're doing, or not you particularly, I think what the town is doing by going to look at Oak Ridge Drive and determining whether or not we're going to accept the town as a town road is that we're going to end up putting more work on the plow guys. We're going to end up using more tax dollars, which is going to cause the mill rate to go up because we're going to need additional trucks to do the work and additional manpower. So I think it's something that, you know, like I say, I see on here already it's going to a town meeting, so I may be late. I may be too late. But the thing is that I think it's something that people need to think about, is that by going and approving this as a town road, if we accept it as a town road, I don't think that people have thought about what the consequences are of doing that. And basically that's it. I'm done.
Anybody else?
William Russo, 407 Elmwood Drive, Windsor Locks, Connecticut. I need to follow Michael Bracken and say that I'm very disappointed with the chief of police and that the chief didn't take the time and the effort to verify that that was a legitimate email, particularly because it was critical of us. I have a written statement from Hartran that he says he doesn't even know Michael Bracken or William Russo.
Or Peter Tomalonis.
Didn't know any of us. Didn't know any of us. And Michael Perry says, well, at least we have these people stop talking about the Henry Dang issue. I'll let you know right off the top, I am still after the state's attorney to make additional arrests because you got a 5-year window for felony. And I am on appeal. I've made a complaint about State's Attorney Hardy not finding probable cause to issue arrest warrants. I am also on record with a criminal complaint down there against boards and commissions who are taking the license and liberty to add things to their records that are basically their own opinion on what I said. For example, I made a statement to the chief of police about the airport when I inquired about it. And in the record, I said, Chief, I said, if you're not going to tell me, I'll file a Freedom of Information complaint, which I did. That recording secretary turned around and said, I threatened. That's her personal interpretation. Another example is they used Michael. They said he interrupted the process, and therefore now with this additional manpower, they station a police officer outside the Board of Selectmen meeting and the Police Commission meeting. Enough said on that. Like I said, I'm very disappointed, and I am looking both criminally and I'm looking civilly because, again, we were treated very poorly. And I just can't accept that. And this is not the first incident that Commissioner Brace has been involved in. Okay? And I just want to make a statement. Stephen, I'd like you to correct me if I'm wrong. I guess the casinos are looking to move north. And I think you sort of endorsed that they could maybe look at the old Teletheater, which is now basically a horse racing venue and a dog racing venue. My only comment there is recently we had a big snafu over pool table magic. And, you know, nudity is one issue. That's probably more offensive to a lot of people. But that was also opposed on the grounds of bringing the wrong type of people to town, bringing prostitution and drugs. If we were to go forward and bring a full-fledged casino, I might think that that might really become a problem, the prostitution and the expansion of drugs to the town of Windsor Locks. Additionally, I think I read something about a building. I think it's under your old business building committee looking at a new police department. I'm going to say it again. The fact that we've gone out and hired the number of police officers that we have is unjustified by the crime statistics for the town of Windsor Locks. And I'm for transparency in government, and I don't believe that your administration is being very transparent as far as looking to expand the police department, to take over Bradley Field. And my only thing is I wish that you as the first selectman and the board of selectmen to be open with the people. But I have discovered the method of operation. We hide things. We push things forward. There's 30, 40 people who basically control what goes on here in town and then just spring it on the other people. I could get behind a lot of things, but I can't get behind them when they're not transparent. And I criticize the leadership. One other thing, I'm under the impression, and I'll verify it pretty soon, that the police department exceeded its budget by a significant amount in closing their fiscal year. So not only did they get, well, I may be wrong, but I'm under the impression they have. And if they have, you know, we've already gotten a 14-15% increase in that operating budget without looking at building a new building, without expanding to take over the airport. I mean, it's obvious, sending people off for airport interdiction and hotel interdiction, and the handwriting is there, and I just wish people would come forward, tell the people, and be upfront. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other public input?
Oh, wait.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Approval of the October 21st, 2014 meeting minutes. Further approval.
Make a motion that the October 21st, 2014
Second.
minutes be approved as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
So, the in correspondence that I have included. No, you don't have to. That's under my jurisdiction.
Can't be offended if I practice analysis.
Nothing says you can't. And you get 3 personal days, so you can, I guess,
Moving on.
use that. But the town hall holiday hour schedule is included in your packet. Trying to get the word out there so that if anybody was to transact business during the holiday season, they know what the hours of operation are. Also, I think in your packet is the 2015 observed holidays throughout town government.
A very reliable source.
Yeah, we do. A little less than what the state gets, but maybe a little more than what the landscaping company.
Amazing. Maybe.
There's another flyer in your packet, and that's for the Torchlight Parade. The tree lighting ceremony on December
You
6th.
gonna make it to that, Dennis? You sure?
You gonna walk?
I was the one that didn't walk last year. I was
You met us
incapacitated.
there.
I was down here,
But you met us at the end, yep.
yep.
Let's hope we get some.
But I will be,
brisk
hopefully I'll be
winter weather.
physically
Not
fit so I
snowing.
can walk this year.
Right.
It's snowing.
You know,
No.
the 6
Yeah,
feet that
sure.
we're gonna
Why
end
don't
up
you,
with in New York.
Why don't you light up
$3 million.
a bobcat and put a seat in the bucket for him?
So, you have that in your packets, so I'll see you on December 6th. 6 o'clock.
Why do we get from last?
I don't know, that could have been in your boxes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I neglected.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll.
It's not from me.
I'm sorry. I feel so bad. I would have
Okay?
done a motion.
Under new business, we need to adopt the Brownfield Grant Financial Assistance Resolution. That's the $200,000 grant that was awarded through the town for the Montgomery Building Brownfield remediation study.
Can I, maybe they can speed this up and make a motion to accept? Oh, I don't know if I was doing this right now. We make a motion to accept the grant and the non-discrimination, I can't do that. Show me the rule.
Pull the charter up.
I'm only kidding. You do it, Dennis.
Don't you have it in your book?
No, you do it.
Mike would like to make the motion that we accept the Brownfield Grant Financial Assistance Resolution as presented in the package, and to also accept the non-discrimination certificate
can't do
resolution
that,
for
she just said.
Brownfield grants.
You must do it one at a
One
time.
at a time.
You do?
One at a time.
Okay,
That's why
then
they're listed. one
Period
at a time.
after the financial assistance resolution as presented in the package,
Dennis seconds it.
and I second it.
So, moved by Mike,
Yep.
seconded by Dennis. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you.
And we have to accept being non-discriminatory.
Mike makes the motion to adopt the non-discrimination certificate resolution for the Brownfield grant as presented in our package, seconded by me.
It's Dennis that seconds it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Thank you. We need to adopt the resolution to accept the new towns that are included in the Capital Region Council of
I'll
Governments.
make the motion.
This is to align with the new state law that shrinks the 15 regional governments down to 9 regional.
No, I'm confused, Dennis. You do it.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution to accept new towns in the Capital Regional Council of Governments Metropolitan Planning Organization as shown in the resolution in our package.
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Yes.
So moved. The next item, although I'd like to push the date out approximately 3 weeks, and that's only because we haven't received the funds that the hotel was putting toward the acceptance of the roads. That's with the paving of the roads. It was parlayed out with different entities paying a certain amount. I want to make sure the town receives
Before we
the
accept
funds before we actually
Do you want
accept the
this-
roads.
Are we gonna set a date?
I'd like to set a date approximately 2 to 3 weeks out. I think that'd be ample time for the monies to come in, and if it doesn't, then
Do we have to
I'll put
specify?
notice that we just won't go forward. Because we won't put the advertising out until just prior to.
Do we have to make a date in the motion?
Yes, I'd like to have a date. This way, at least we can set it up on a calendar, we can get the,
It's December 9th, a Tuesday?
It is,
I'll tell you in a second.
it is.
Let's go with December 9th, sounds good. That's far enough out.
Make a motion to set a town meeting date for the acceptance of Oak Ridge Drive at December 9th, 2014.
Second.
Discussion, just for the point of clarification, this is the road, the drive, Oak Ridge Drive, up to the intersection where the cul-de-sac roundabout
Roundabout.
is, so it's only the main drive going in and out. It was something that's been on the books since 1992. The town should have approved it back then. This is housekeeping or cleaning of some of the previous planning and zoning subdivision adoption. And we're just, with the new development going in the back, it was brought to the town's attention about 3 years ago. And well, the improvements have been made to town specs, and we're just waiting for that, make sure that we receive the funds for part of the paving.
Thank you for clarifying that for me. I thought the Oak Ridge Drive was the one that goes all the way into the condos.
If, the town meeting is moved to the 9th of December, does the formal taking over of the plowing of the road occur before or after?
The 9th of December.
So prior, it does not.
No. I don't think we're plowing it right now. I can't say, let me clarify, I don't know for sure, because we accepted the roads over in Megway, over the Acorn area, we were plowing those roads.
Before there was official.
And we've been plowing them since the subdivision.
Before there was
put in.
official
Correct.
meetings.
And from what I understand, it's a courtesy that's usually extended to those type of subdivisions.
Thank you.
Here an association is involved, so similar to what Concord Way was, when we plow up to or around the roundabout.
All right.
So,
So to be determined.
Yeah, I think this is gonna,
Working out with
some of the developer I know was looking to
Why
get
you
this.
close?
No, we don't, we shouldn't anymore.
Right, but I mean, you're the one that has one, okay.
I'm hoping it doesn't snow, except for the Twitch Light Parade. But, yeah, I look for December 9th, and, I could get the check tomorrow, and it would have been offered for naught, but I'd rather err on the side of caution, when it comes to town resources.
That hotel was for sale?
Yes. And that's where the monies are coming from, the hotels. That's why I wanna make sure with the sale, with it up for sale, that this, is all put to rest properly and not waiting to be paid at a later date after we accept. So that's why I'm erring on the side of caution. So I look for a motion and, second, to move it to town meeting for December 9th.
I already made it, didn't I?
But did you? Oh,
Yeah,
was
we're
it? Oh, I'm sorry.
discussing.
That's right, it was discussion stage,
Yep.
I
All in,
apologize.
we gotta vote on.
All in favor?
Yes.
So moved, thank you. Okay, moving right along, ethics, we can skip right down. Oh, wait a minute, ethics, no, that's out to the
Yes,
bargaining
we're
units.
waiting
Yeah,
back.
we're waiting, to the end of the month, for any feedback from bargaining units and or boards and commissions or, personnel that are affected by the policy. The comp time, I haven't received anything.
No,
But I'll push him, with our next negotiation, just to get it, on the books around.
Okay. we said we're gonna take a tour, and I see emails about
Yeah,
public safety, so that'll happen when
it's in December,
Yep,
yeah, December 2nd, is it?
That email.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, December 2nd, 10 o'clock. And that's only for a tour of the, police department portion of the safety complex. We'll set up a date for the fire department at, a different date.
December 2nd.
Yep,
What time was
10 o'clock. It shouldn't take more than a half hour to an hour. And this way we can understand the needs of the department. And, move forward with that. The Connecticut Water Company land, I don't have anything, I thought I would have some documentation. Scott Storms has reached out to the Connecticut Water Company to get the proper documents to go before town meeting to accept the property. As a town applicant. Right now we have easement rights, we would assume all responsibility for the land. Excuse me, with the deed restrictions in place. In your packet is Small Cities Grant Opportunities. This is an annual occurrence where solicitations are sent out to the towns. Larry Wagner and Associates has been very successful in garnering grants for the town over the last 8, 10, 12 years, even going back further than that. Very successful, usually in the neighborhood of $400,000 to $500,000. We received, I want to say 70% of the time. There's been a couple times we haven't received grants because of the competition, but it has a very successful track record. We've used him in the past. He's very familiar with the town and the areas that can apply, or we can apply on behalf because of the census documentation in town. So I have it for your perusal, and hopefully we'll have something to discuss at a later date to possibly go forward with grant opportunities. He's paid on a contingency basis, so if we get awarded the grant, then he gets 10% of the grant allocation is for his fees.
That's standard to 10%?
The next item is discussion regarding obtaining town attorney opinions. This is a discussion that's taken place with the town attorney. Basically, taking the section out of the charter where boards and commissions have available to them the town attorney, but we're supposed to get notice from those boards and commissions as a board of selectmen. Again, this is for discussion. But there's been a lot of requests to the town attorney, and sometimes the wording or phraseology, for lack of a better term, verbiage, is changed. So the ruling that comes out is different than what the original intent was. Case in point was I had requested monies from the contingency to aid with the finance department to get us up to speed for the audit. We were short 3 people, so I was looking